let's look at this passage here in Luke chapter 16. I think this is helpful. This is actually, okay, so if the other passage in 1 Timothy 6:10 is one of the most misinterpreted passages, I think this one is one of the most difficult passages to understand, at least on the surface, okay? Luke 16, verse 1 says, "Now he was also saying to the disciples," this is Jesus speaking, "there was a rich man who had a manager. And this manager was reported to him as squandering his possessions. And so he called him and said to him, 'What is this that I hear about you? Give an account of your management, for you can no longer be my manager.'" Okay? So Jesus is kind of giving this illustration, right? And in this illustration, there's this rich man, okay? There's this like master. And whenever you see kind of this illustration or this parable, usually the master is who? Master represents God, okay? So keep that in mind as we go through the story. The master represents God. So the master is calling in his manager, and he's saying, "What is this I hear about you?" You're basically saying, "You're a terrible manager. You can't be my manager anymore. I'm going to fire you," okay? So then the manager, he starts reacting, and he says to himself, he's talking to himself. I do that too. Talk to myself, and I say, "What shall I do since my master is taking the management away from me?" And I really love his honesty. Look what he says. He says, "I'm not strong enough to dig, and I'm too ashamed to beg. I know what I shall do so that when I'm removed from the management, people will welcome me into their homes." Okay, so he has a plan. Okay, he's going to get fired, or maybe he did get fired. He's going to get fired, and so he says, "Okay, before I lose my job, I have a plan in place." Okay, and this is what his plan is. He's going to start going to people that's been on his account, his kind of people that he's been going to on behalf of the master. Look what he does. This is kind of smart, actually, he says. "And he summoned each one of his master's debtors, and he began saying to the first, 'How much do you owe my master?' And he said, 'I owe 100 measures of oil,'" like 100 gallons of oil. Okay, and he said to him, "Take your bill and sit down quickly and write 50. Okay, then he said to another, 'How much do you owe?' And he said, 100 measures of wheat. And he said to him, 'Take your bill and write 80. Okay, think about this for a second, right? Okay, so he's a manager. He's in charge of all the rich man's accounts, right? And so the rich man has all of these different goods. He has like oil and wheat and all these different dealings, right? And then he's going to these different people who owe the master money, and he says to the first person, 'How much do you owe?' He said, like 100 measures of oil. And he says, 'Take your bill and sit down and write it 50. Like, wait a minute. How can he do that? How is this going to be actually helpful for him? Like, if he really owes 100, how is he going to get away with it if he puts down 50? Right? Or if this other person owes 100 measures of wheat and he just writes down 80, how is that going to help him? Right? So when the master or the rich man finds out that these people have done it, how is that going to be helpful for him? How are these people going to be on his side and seeing that he's done him like this good service or this good favor? Right? That's what's a little confusing here. Like, what is exactly going on? Until you start realizing, oh my gosh, the reason this is working is because this guy is so crooked. He's making the bill so inflated that when you cut it in half, he's actually saying what you think you owe 100, but you only owe 50. I've kind of changed the books and I made it 100. And why does he do that? That extra 50, where does it go? Into his pocket. And I think that's what the rich man found out. That's what the wealthy man found out, is that the manager had been doing this. So what he does is like, I'm going to forego my commission that I've kind of created for myself and make them feel like I'm doing them this great favor so I could earn their favor. So he goes to the first person and says, "How much do you owe?" "I owe 100 measures of oil." He said, "Make it 50. Don't worry, I'll take care of you. I'll take care of you. Make it 50. And then the 100 measures of wheat, make it 80. I'm not sure why he only gets 20% discount. The other guy's 50. I don't know why, but he gets 20% discount and saying, I'll do you solid. Don't worry about it. I got it. Just write down 80 and you'll be good. Right? And so this is what he does. Okay? Okay. Then we look at what the master comes back and says. Okay, so the master sees what he does, and look at what the master says after the manager does this. And his master praised the unrighteous manager because he had acted shrewdly. What? I don't get this, right? We just said that the master is supposed to represent in the story God, right? So it looks like God is like praising this dishonest manager. Is that what's happening here? It is what's happening here. He is praising the dishonest manager. But the question is, what is he praising him for? What is he looking at the manager and saying, wow, that's pretty good. That's pretty good what you did. What is he praising him for? He's not praising him because he's dishonest or unrighteous. He's praising him because he acted shrewdly. He's saying, you acted really shrewdly. You looked at your situation, you looked at what's ahead in your future, and you were pretty smart about it. That's what the manager is saying here. Or that's what the master is saying here. He's saying, you knew you were going to lose your job. You knew what was going to happen in the future. You acted pretty smart. That's what he's saying. Okay? But he doesn't stop there. Look at what he says. He says, and the master praised the unrighteous manager because he had acted shrewdly. Because he said, for the sons of this age, or the sons of this world, or the people of this world, are more shrewd in relation to their own kind than the sons of light, than the people of God. He's saying, the people of the world, they're smarter, more shrewd, more cunning, more intelligent with dealing with the things of this world than the people of light, the people of God, the people, my children. Then he says, and I say to you, you need to be like this dishonest manager. You need to make friends for yourself by means of the wealth of unrighteousness, so that when it fails, they will receive you into eternal dwellings. What is he talking about? What is he talking about here? Basically, he's saying this. He's saying, look at this dishonest manager. He obviously has no relationship with me. He's not one of the children of light. He's like the children of this world, is what he was saying. But look how smart he is. He knows what's going on. He knows what's happening in the future. So because he knows what's happening in the future, he's really smart about it. And that's what he's recognizing. He's saying, these people are really smart. He's taking care of what's going to go on. He's making sure that he earns these friends. He does what he can to try to earn their favor and to try to get these friends to like him, so that when he doesn't have a job, that these people will welcome him into their homes. They'll say, you did me so right. You did me this great favor. You really took care of me. So now let me take care of you. Come stay in my house. Come eat my food. Come sleep in my room. That's what he's saying. And then Jesus is saying, the master is saying, can you look at this? Can you see how smart the world operates according to the worldly stuff? Can you see how smart and cunning they are in trying to make money? And try to, even in this case, by dishonest means, by thinking about the system, how the system works, how these things operate. Can you see how cunning they are in trying to get their goals and the things that they want to accomplish in this world, this unrighteous wealth that they're accumulating? Do you see how cunning they are, how shrewd they are in that? Do you see how smart they are in making up all these different schemes, working around the system about how they can cut corners here or how they could do all of these different... Do you see how smart they are? You have a relationship with God, the God who has all and knows all. You should be smarter than they are. Look at how they are with worldly things, with unrighteous things. You should be even more shrewd with your money. That's what he's saying. Just like the dishonest manager knew what was happening in the future, he knew what was going to unfold ahead of him, and then he acted on it. He's saying the same thing for the children of light. You know what the end of the story is. You know where you're going to be. You know you're going to end up in a place that goes forever, that's eternal, and that's not temporary like this world is. Look at this. Look at the last verse. It says again, and I say to you, make friends for yourself too, kind of similar like the dishonest manager, by means of this same money, of the same unrighteous wealth that the dishonest manager was using, so that when it fails, because it will fail, money will fail. If you trust money, it will fail. And so when it fails, they will receive you into not their earthly dwellings, into eternal dwellings. You need to use your money smartly like this person did. You need to use your money, but for a different purpose, for eternal purpose. You need to use your money for eternal purposes that are really going to take care of things. And look at what he says. Just like the friends that he's making with the person who owned the oil and the wheat would welcome them into his house, into their houses. Look at what he's saying. If you do the same thing and use your money to bless other people and to use things for eternal impact, that when you get to heaven, what's going to happen? Those same people that you loved with your money, they're going to invite you and welcome you into their eternal dwelling. Do you see what he's saying here? This is actually pretty powerful. He's saying when you can see your money this way because you know what's going to happen in the future, just like the dishonest manager knew what was going to happen in the future, if you understand that and you know what's going to happen, that's going to drive you in how you see your money and how you use your money and how you strategize and what you do and how you plan. He said, if that's the case, if eternity what matters and not here what's temporary, then that should drive your decisions. That should drive how you see your money and how you use your money and how you think about your money. And when you invest in money and loving people and serving people, and then when you do that, you'll earn their favor so that what ultimately happens is that they become a Christian and they become someone that is going to be with you for all eternity, and they're going to welcome you into their eternal dwellings. Just like the dishonest manager had. Just like into the physical dwellings of the oil person and the wheat person, they invited them into their physical home. He's saying you can do the same thing, but they're going to invite you into their eternal home. And when I think about this, it really touches me. I think about a missionary in Thailand that our family supports, and I think about those dollars that are going out, and I think about the money that I'm sowing seeds into. And I was thinking, if this money that I have could go to that place and someone could receive the Lord, and then when I get to heaven and I get to go before the Lord and to see people there, and I have someone come up to me that I've never met in my life saying, thank you. Thank you so much for what you did. Thank you so much for what you sowed into. I want to invite you, come into my house now and let's eat together. And I was like, I've never met you before. I don't even know who you are. Well, I live in Thailand. And the money that you sowed into this missionary, he shared the gospel with me. And now I get to be with God forever. And I think, is there anything better we can do with our money? Is there anything more valuable that we can do with our money than this? Is there any bigger return that we can get from our investment? Is there any more profitable thing or useful thing that we can do in our life with our money than this? 100% no. 100%. You have to have eternal perspective. This life is not all there is. And if you think this life is all there is, you're going to be stressed out by money. And money is going to control you instead of you controlling it. Let me end with this. One of the illustrations that I heard that I really, really like and I resonate with is I heard this pastor talk about his money, and he described his money as soldiers. And I was like, I've never heard anything like that, but I love that. I love that idea that our money are soldiers. There are soldiers waiting for our command to go out, waiting for God's command and direction to go out. I love that because that sees it in the right perspective. Our money has purpose.